Notre Dame can't play this week because they're missing a jacket. That was a joke.
Ooh.
Can I just say I watched a bit of the Notre Dame game at the weekend there, and like, what is there to say here? They've put up 1,000 yards of total offense offensively in the first two games, 589 yards passing, there, 412 rushing. North Carolina State, their defensive performance was good last year. They held teams to 19.2 points per game last year, but they're going to have to find a way to stop this. But I cannot see how we don't have a situation again on Saturday where Hartman's being benched midway through the third quarter because they put up 20, 30, 35 points. And obviously tests are going to come for Notre Dame, but it feels like they're just on a roll until they get that big sort of matchup. But going into NC State this weekend, first away game of the season, if you don't count Dublin.
Yeah, I saw the spread for this game sitting at Notre Dame -7.5, and that really did take me by surprise. I think Notre Dame so far have exceeded expectations, even though, albeit it's been against poor competition, but they are better than who we thought they are coming into the season. Sam Hartman has looked as advertised, if not even better. It's a battle of two super senior quarterbacks here. You've got Hartman on the Notre Dame side and Brennan Armstrong on the NC State side. They're both very familiar with each other at this point in their careers. I think they've played each other maybe 4 times. Hartman himself has played NC State 3 times. So this is it's going to be an experience battle between them two of the better quarterbacks in college football at the minute. I think, honestly, Notre Dame have to prove that they can beat a big team. Last season they started off 0-2, and look, they've got Ohio State nearing each other on the schedule there. It's come to the point where we need to see Notre Dame beat one of these top teams to really, really say, okay, this team is a contender this year and not just another of the plethora of, New Year's 6 borderline teams ranging from maybe 7th to 15th in the rankings.
Yeah, and Connell, like as Dara said there, Notre Dame have got Ohio State in 2 weeks after this, to NC State this weekend, Central Michigan next weekend, and Ohio State in 3 weeks' time. It's going to be a big test for them, but I guess they got to go over the hump this weekend first.
Yeah, and I think actually in our preview that we did, that people should definitely go and watch because it was a lot of work put into that. The Notre Dame team, you look kind of back every season, and there is one game that's against a similar level opponent. Like last year was different because they did lose, to Marshall early in the season, which they definitely should not have lost that game. But this NC State team is one where you could kind of see they just turn up on the day and play amazing defense and just play get the job done on offense. And if they can do that, they could beat this team. I guess it really does come down to the man of the hour, I guess, for Notre Dame, and Sam Hartman. How's he going to perform? And even then, we're still not talking about Audric Estime as much as we should be as well, because he's put up, I believe in the first game he put up maybe just about 90 yards or over 100 yards, and then he went over 100 yards again at the weekend. So I think it'll be really interesting. I do think Notre Dame wins this because I think they're kind of just a different team and they have more confidence than what they did last year. And Marcus Freeman, there's actually a great piece on The Athletic by Peter Sampson. He watched Marcus Freeman. He watched the game, but he watched Marcus Freeman all of last game. And, he just saw the growth that came from him in his second year as a coach this year. It's really, really interesting.
You could even see it on TV when they were 30 odd points up, and there was a review. And obviously, you're going to be into it as a head coach, but I've never seen as much energy, Dara, at certain moments with him. He seems so locked in, even at times when the game's completely put to bed.
Yeah, he's obviously got that refound focus. I think he's been one of the more disrespected coaches. I saw rankings that had him as a tier 5 and tier 6 coach in college football last year. I think that's a wee bit ridiculous considering what he's managed to achieve at Cincinnati and at Notre Dame. He's I rate him highly. He's obviously got an awful lot of years to come. He's one of the youngest coaches in the sport. But yeah, really good to see that upward growth now coming into year 2 under his head coach.
Yes, sir. So they put up 42 points in Dublin, 56 last week in their home opener, proper home opener.
Can I just point out that Sam Hartman in this game threw for 194 yards, and he threw for 200 in the first half in the Navy game. So he threw for less yards in, I believe he played about 3 quarters, or he got pulled early anyway in this game, but he threw for less yards in a half than he did in this game, which is like, that's just insane.
That was my like sort of toy to like go, okay, Michael, put on. I think Michigan was on, or not Michigan. It was Wisconsin was on against Buffalo on the dodgy Fire Stick, so I turned it off. Never thought Hartman was turned off, but even at that. But yeah, they play Ohio. They got Ohio State 21st September, and then they've got in terms of ranked teams, USC, Clemson.
That could be 3 conference champions there in Ohio State, USC, and Clemson.
I think it's really interesting if they beat Ohio State.
See, they're a team that needs a tough schedule because they don't have the benefit of the championship game last week. They basically need to go undefeated, and they need to beat all these good teams to have a shot at the playoff. It's just the position they're in.
If they do lose a game, they basically need to play well enough in that game to where you kind of can't deny them the spot at that point.